Hello, guys. Welcome to Gusto Reactions once again. Thank you so much for always liking, sharing, subscribing. Compliment of the season to every one of you. Big Lala is very much in the building today. And we've got the Gusto Report Card 2022 right here. We've had quite a lot of artists on the plate, and we have three other artists right now on this session with Big Lala. 8, Rema. We've got Arya Star, also, of course, two Maven record artists. And Ololade, Mr. Money, Asake is also in the mix as well. It's Gusto 2022 report card. We've got these three artists. Big Lala is going to do justice to their 2022, and of course, rating them. Like we always say, the report card is not a competition to say who had a better year between these three artists. It's talking about these artists one after the other and rating their year. Basically, it's left for you to now give us comment on what you think about this artist individually or collectively or whatever. But right now we have Rema, Arya Star, and Asake in the building. Big Lala, what exactly do you think about Arya Star, Rema, and Asake 2022?
Well, I'm going to start off with Asake. I think, again, I think I've used the word fantastic too much in this series. But I don't think he's been nothing short of fantastic as an artist. I think he's done so well for himself. He's owned from January to December, right? Every month, like I think it was even intentional because every month he's dropped a record and made sure that he had the hits in that month.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So I think Asake, starting from his EP that he dropped at the start of the year, to the other songs, to the features that he's made, he became the go-to guy, the go-to feature guy, the go-to guy if you want to be on charts, the go-to guy of the face of a new style, per se. That new style that even when people talk now and see someone like Sheyi Vibes doing the same thing, even though Sheyi Vibes is not, you won't say he's a copycat because he also was also sounding like that before the big break of Asake. But Asake, I think owns that particular style. He owns that style to be he's refined it. He's giving it the most how will I say? He's giving it the most
exposure.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, the most. Yeah, that's the important word. The most exposure. Yeah, and it kind of like made it the better version of that sound, if I would say it that way. Because when you hear Sheyi Vibes, you hear its raw version of that style. How would I say? Yeah, the streets unrefined, a rough version of that style. But with Asake, you get refined.
A pop version. A pop version. Did you say pop version?
I think the word is refined. I'll stick to refined. He refined it well to perfection. Yeah.
Okay. Asake in 2022. Let's break it down. January, from December actually we had the remix. Got into January, then February we had the EP. We had Baba God on there. We had Trabaye on there as well. We had Sungba and we had Omokwe. Now, for an EP of 4 songs and 4 bangers, was that a clear indicator that this guy was going to have a major run in 2022?
I think so. If you put it that way, I want to believe so because it's rare. I mean, that's why sometimes I prefer short projects. You either get it right or you don't get it right. But when you have long projects and there's some filler songs right there, you're now leaving room for people to now doubt, oh, is this really what? With Asake, everything was intentional, right? He had four tracks. 4 tracks were good, right? And it all made sense to him for him to push each record month by month, and then the features started coming in, and the features were great. He was making those features great, and he was doing really well. Till the moment where he dropped another project, and again he dropped that other project, and everything was working fine, crazy for him. And he had songs every time he wanted to drop. He wanted to push a new song. It was dope. You get.
Asake went from begging to perform at concert in December 2021 to actually hosting big concert in Manchester, in Birmingham as well, and 3 days, in London. Unfortunately, the third day didn't go as planned. But let's talk about the concerts right now. Now, from begging to perform at concerts in December 2021 to filling up a 5K capacity for 3 consecutive days, going to Manchester, going to Birmingham as well, doing your thing, releasing Palazzo with DJ Spinner, dropping Terminator, to organize, to Sungba the remix with Burna Boy, to getting on an international collaboration with a guy named Friday, to doing all of these things in 2022. A lot of people feel Asake is a revelation. Something is actually undoubtedly, the artist of the year. Something is arguable. Some say no, it's unarguable. This guy is the artist of the year for 2022. Big Lala, what do you think?
Of course, it has to be arguable. You can't be outright artist of the year. I think the one that he's had this year is similar to what Fireboy's breakout year was at the Headies. I see him doing similar things in terms of winning the amount of awards in a night. That's if Headies come correct and if they are on time this year. I don't know how that's going to pan out. But if things were actually going to pan out the way it is, I think Asake deserves any sort of accolades that he will get this year. Looking at the year-end charts for all the DSPs, only Burna Boy has had more streams in Nigeria than him. Yeah, and he in the two platforms that shows the user base, the consumer base in Nigeria, which is Boomplay and Audiomack. I think he came out tops on Audiomack, but he lost out to Burna Boy on Boomplay, and those are the two platforms that show a large percentage of music listeners in Nigeria. On the other two elitist platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, Burna Boy owned that. But if you look at these stats deeply, sometimes I really want to see the actual numbers that come out of these platforms. You know why? Because you can dive deeper into these numbers. It shouldn't just be your total number of streams and that's it. It cannot be that. Asake dropped an album late in the year, right? He dropped an EP at the start of the year, right? Burna Boy dropped an album, singles. Burna Boy had loads of songs on his album. Asake had how many songs on his album? You need to let us. You need to make sense of these numbers. You need to tell us the percentage of time it was released versus how many plays it got and things like that to better understand this number. It can't just be a total number thing and then just say bam, is it was streamed. You have to put the timing of when it was dropped into fact. I'm not just saying this because it's Asake and things like that, but this timing has to be this data has to be interpreted in different ways. It can't just be end of year. And I think in the future this platform should do the same thing. Yeah. But at the moment, that's what we have. That's what we have to contend with. Burna Boy has more streams. Asake came in second, and the rest goes on like that.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, I actually do have, something about Burna Boy and Asake, which is what I saw on Twitter. Some other, well, of course, we'll discuss that, later. But still talking about Asake, we've talked about the music, we've talked about the concerts, we've talked about the awards as well. I mean, the recognition here and there for Asake. How did Asake, how was he able to stay off control? How was he able to stay off controversies, in 2022?
I think he said from the start he wanted to focus on himself. He wasn't in for any controversy. He didn't want any of that. Even on his lyrics of the song, he said he knows his sense, so he doesn't want to be any comparison.
Before you use me, I go use my sense and everything.
Yes, I go use my sense and things like that. So those are the things that got him where he is today. He's been as loyal as possible. He's been as humble as possible to the likes of Olamide and co. And I think that's fine. I think that's okay.
In all of this, achievement that Asake has achieved in 2022, from the shows to the music to the concert and everything, which would you say has been the most impressive for you?
I think the most impressive is the reception of his music, especially in the UK and in the US. You get
the turnout. Asake.
The turnout of his shows It's crazy. No other person is having a
He did
debut
a US show
tour
as
in this.
well. He did a US
Yeah,
tour and he filled
yeah.
out.
No,
He sold
he
out
filled out
everything.
exactly. It's just phenomenal. It's not like he's having to change his sound. It's as local as you want it to sound, and it's still attract. And that's the dream of every artist. He doesn't have
Yeah.
to sound a certain way. He doesn't have to change his sound, and he's getting this sort of reaction. That's the beauty for me. I mean, his songs throughout the year has been impressive as possible. You get
Yeah.
throughout the
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
he's had hits on hits, but the tour is the reaction he's getting on tours, the craziness that's going on at his shows, and he's also delivering. That's the good thing about him.
But moving on from Asake, of course, let's talk about Rema, who is also having a very, very fantastic 2022, both locally and internationally. This guy has done amazing things this year. 300 million views for Calm Down, the video, the original video itself. Now a that is madness. Rema in 2022, how would you rate his year?
Well, it, nothing short of fantastic again. But due to the virality of that song, Calm Down, he's achieved so much. Had a big remix with Selena Gomez. You get
Yeah,
so I think he's done really well, and you can't put anything past him because he's moved into another gear, another level in his artistry as an
yeah,
artist. Even his when you see Rema perform at shows, you sometimes if you underrate him as an artist and be like, you see really that big design. But when you see the amount of crazy reaction he gets at shows, then you begin
yeah.
to appreciate Rema more. Of course, the variety of Calm Down really helped him. Calm Down was the biggest thing that's ever happened to Rema. But don't forget his old songs. This song is the biggest thing, is the most performing song, is his biggest record that he's had as an artist.
And of course, a lot of people are talking about his performances as well at different concerts around the world, how he
Mm-hmm.
moves the crowd and everything. Some people actually said in 2022, Rema has tried to replicate the Bonner kind of performances across the globe. Is that true?
They're not even remotely alike in terms of performances. Their sets are different. When Burna Boy has something organized that he does over and over again with his band, it's not the same with Rema. Rema feeds up the fans. He feeds up the energy of the fans, and you see that when he starts his performance, he goes crazy, and he expects the fans to go crazy with him. So it's different. I don't think they're similar in any way.
And of course, the Maven album as well came through for Rema, and a lot of people believe he did quite, a very good justice on the album.
Of course, he was the leader of that new school or new generation of Maven artists. He is the leader, not saying he was. He's still the leader of that generation. Those guys who have just been signed, they look up to the success that Rema has
Of
had.
Rema,
So
yeah.
he played that part well as a leader of the pack of this new young generation, and
Yeah.
you have to give him his flowers for that.
He was talking about having a lot of plaques, and his shelf couldn't contain this year certifications for Calm Down, and of course, we know before then there was Bounce as well by Rema. But like you mentioned, Calm Down has been that song, both
Mm-hmm.
the original and the international version with Selena Gomez and all of that. A lot of people actually have given Rema, his flowers this year, both in performance wise and all of that. But Rema did not go Rema is not ending 2022 without some Twitter controversies as well. Rema with the very careless fingers in 2022 as well on Twitter, talking about a lot of things about some OGs not being this, not being that. People should give respect to the OGs. He is not here to compete. Why does Rema never misses when it comes to Twitter rants?
I think, to be honest, I think artists, people forget sometimes that they're human beings and they always have a lot on their mind. And this social media thing, sometimes you fall into the trap of not really looking at what you are what you have typed or what you are saying before you actually
Yeah,
hit the send or tweet
yeah,
button. It happens to a lot of these artists. Remember, we've known him to always come on social media and rant. He's talked about his brother's death, his family signing to the prince. There's always been management coming and taking his phone,
yeah.
which is fine with these young artists. But you see the same thing happen with even the young artists that they've just signed on our
Yeah.
movie, that they've not even, that their career has not even lifted off yet. You get, they will also come on Twitter and be ranting and be proving. See, it's just a thing
What
of
spice are you putting into this stew that you're cooking?
it's not only the spice, it is the spice and the magic that I'm putting in this. It's not only them. You get so
Oh my days.
it is very, again, it helps them and it doesn't help them. It helps them because they stay in the news, people talk about them. It doesn't help them because it also changes people's perspective of them.
About
Like
them, yeah.
the way people see them and things like that, which is fine. Rema has had his say on Twitter severally, with whether it's OG, whether it's DJ Neptune,
Yeah.
which was last year, or
Yeah.
any other thing. It's, I think, at this very moment, I think I'm just fine with any artist that comes on Twitter and rants. They give us things to talk about,
Yeah.
and their aim is for people to talk about them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just want to, I mean, pour out their heart and say what's on their mind, which is what Twitter is for social media.
Yeah.
So they ask you what
Definitely.
is on your mind. But again,
Yeah.
don't be everything within your mind. You will go and type and put
In
there.
type
Sometimes
and
just take
post,
a step
yeah.
back and delete.
And think, okay. 2022 Sorema dropped his debut album Rave and Roses after lots and lots of delays. Now, two things. Do you think the album was worth the wait? Were you impressed or you were disappointed?
No, of course it was worth the wait. Don't forget that Calm Down is also on the album and
Mm,
several other songs. As an album, maybe it's not getting the accolades you would say it deserves, but it was important for Rema to drop that debut album,
yeah.
and they put their all into it, and it did well. To be
Mm,
honest, it did well. It perhaps not the you won't count it as the best album to drop out of Nigeria in
2022.
2022,
Yeah.
but it did well. It did well as an artist, and of course, there are hit records which is being picked right now for the album.
Definitely. As we go, Big Lala, 2022 has seen a lot of young artists do their thing from, Omale to Buju to Ruga to Zeno, all of these guys. Even Rema himself is not left out. And of course, the Maven guys as well have done their thing. Does 2022 confirm or proves that Rema is truly the king of the new school in Nigeria?
The thing is, when Rema came on board, that's like a new generation, right?
Because
But the people
Timaya
who
said
came,
something. Sorry for you. Timaya said
what did
something.
they say?
He said, "Oh, he went on Cool FM and said, oh, he likes all these new schoolers and everything. But Rema na papa na. No, 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 no. As in, it's not even a competition at all. Rema na papa na. Rema is a father. That boy don't go, go, go. I like Buju. I did a song with him. I like this. I did a song with him. But Rema, no, no, no. That boy don't go. Another father, another father. Another. The way he was saying it, more like, are we here to argue that fact? According to him, though, do you agree with him?
The only person that should be mentioned or that he came up with the likes of them, Fireboy and Co. Right? Those are
Yeah,
the people I think that Rema. I mean, apart from this new school, Buju, Vugas, and Co. that you have right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
the previous sets, right, is
Joe
Fireboy, is
Boy,
Redman, Joe Boy and
Joe
Co. And
Boy,
it's
yeah,
not like these guys have not done well in there, but Rema has been able to push on consistently, like Timaya for them. He don't go. Nobody say the
mm,
other guys to never go, but you cannot put a Rema in the conversation with the likes of with you, Vugas, Diski and Co. No,
yeah.
those are the new set. If we are going to go by Headies nomination, the way they do their rookie of the year
Right,
and that sort of stuff,
right,
you know
right,
that
right, right.
this generation that you have
It's not
now
Rema
is
set.
no, it's not.
It's not
It
Rema
belongs to
set.
a previous set,
Yeah,
and of course, it's done well.
right, right, right. Anyways, Asake, in 2022, we mentioned earlier, um, your ratings over 100%.
Asake really has done really well.
I'm waiting for what you're going to say.
This is now a problem for me because I don't remember what meeting I gave Bono, but I think it was 85%. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
it was
think so.
85. Yeah, basically, I'm giving him the same rating as Bonner Boy. Yes, and this is intentional because it's not yet to reveal what my artist of the year is or anything like that. So it's same rating as Bonner, which is
Yeah,
85%.
85%. Okay.
And
And Rema. Mm.
Rema had a good year. Rema had a good year, and I think he deserves a an 80%.
And
I'm being
80%.
generous. Yeah.
Anyways,
100%.
Rema had eighty
Calm down is in the
percent.
madness. You can't overlook it.
Definitely. And of course, Asake had 85%. Definitely the same score as Burna Boy. Let us have your thoughts on this two artists, Asake and of course Rema, 2022 Gospel Report card. What do you think about their year so far? I mean, just a few days left for 2022 to round up. Yes. What do you think about Rema's 2022 and of course Ashake's 2022, the awards, certifications, the performances, the music itself? What exactly are your thoughts? Put them down below. We'll see you guys on the next one. Please stay safe and God bless.